Hello everyone, my name is Sandeep Kumar and currently I am pursuing my PhD from Indian Institute of Technology, Patna. I am here to present our paper, DeepASPeer towards an aspect level sentiment controllable framework for decision protection from academic peer reviews. This is a joint work with Hardik Arora, with Shankar Ghoshal and Professor Asif Iqbal. So what is peer review process? Peer review process is considered to be the primary means of ensuring the quality of scientific publication. Reviewers evaluate articles and submit their reviews in textual format or rating score. So what does editor and chair do? Based upon the articles and the reviews submitted by the reviewers, they determine the acceptance or rejection of a paper. Open review has given a chance for the reviews to be openly accessible. This has given us an opportunity to understand the reviews in a better way. Currently, the peer review process is under stress due to rising growth of scientific publication. AAAI received 2021 received 9,000 publications. Neural IPS received 12,000 abstracts. This problem presents a significant administrative challenge to editors and conference program chair who are usually burdened with many tasks like assigning reviews, ensuring timely receipt of reviews, filling in for non-responding reviews, informing decision, communicating with authors, etc. The major challenge is to decide whether to accept or reject a manuscript based on the reviews provided by the reviewers, simultaneously ensuring their validity. Even the some of the good reviews are having even if some good quality papers are rejected, even though it has good reviews due to less recommendation scores. So review recommendation has limitations, and editor's decision appear to be significantly influenced by reviewers' recommendations. Review text perhaps plays the most crucial role in deciding the acceptance and rejection of a paper. With our ongoing effort to build an artificial intelligence-based peer review system, the purpose of this study is not to replace human reviewers. Instead, we are interested in exploring how AI can provide a supplemental opinion of reviews with respect to various aspects to assist the overall peer review decision-making process. These are the aspects we investigated and used for our experiment. Motivation means, does the paper address an important problem? Are other people or practitioner or researcher likely to use these ideas or build on them? Substance means, does the paper contain substantial experiment to demonstrate the effectiveness of the proposed method? Are these are there detailed results analysis? Does it contain meaningful evaluation studies? Clarity means, for a reasonable, prepared reader, is it clear what was done and why? Is the paper well written and well structured? Meaningful comparisons, are the comparisons to prior work sufficient given the space constraints? Are the comparisons fair? Originality means, are there new research topic, technique, methodology, or insight, etc. Soundness means, is the proposed approach sound? Are the claims in the paper convincingly supported? Replicability means, is it easy to reproduce the result and verify the correctness of the result? Is the supporting dataset of software provided or not? So this is the dataset statistic. We use aspect enhanced peer review dataset for our experiment, which is proposed by Young et al., which contains around 20,000 annotated reviews. Annotated in the sense, each review is annotated with with the with the aspect it belongs and the sentiment, whether positive or negative. So it contains ICLR and neural IPS reviews from 2017 to 2019 and 2016 to 2019 respectively, which is being collected from open reviews. Here you can see the sentence frequency, the frequency of sentences that belong to motivation positive or motivation negative. So green represents the sentence belonging to uh, um, aspect motivation and with sentiment positive, and red represents the negative sentiment. So we ask us a question: does each aspect should be given equal importance? If we don't want to give equal importance, then which should be given more importance? Which should be given less importance? Should the motivation be given more importance? Should the audience be given less importance? So one thing is, we can train the model, and but the problem with only training the model is that if we train on different conferences together, what may happen, like every venue has different importance for different aspects. For example, one conference may focus on motivation and less focus on substance. One conference can focus more on originality and less focus on replicability. So, and if even the editor have different perspective as to whether the paper contains originality, whether the paper contains motivation. So they have different opinion with respect to each and every aspect. So we tried to solve this problem, and this is the methodology which we have used. So initially, we have a collection of reviews corresponding to a single paper. We combine all the reviews of a paper to create a single combined review. We segregated the review sentences into separate groups. First, based on the sentiment of the comment received from the reviewers, positively and negatively. Secondly, each group is further divided into aspect comments received from the reviewers. So we on the aspects. So each we use the goal annotated aspect sentiment labels from the dataset for our experiment. Each group of sentences obtained from this layer is being now passed through an encoder for generating the contextualized representation for these sentences. For this purpose, we utilize SBERT, sentence transformer BERT, which is fine-tuned on semantic textual similarity task as a sentence encoder. We obtain an embedding for each group of contextualized representation by passing through CNN layer. We create a polarity vector. So here you can see there are 8 rows. So each rows belongs to one aspect, and this is an embedding representation for each and every aspect. So this is further passed to MLP, followed by it is being concatenated with the various sentiment polarity. So various sentiment, each sentiment can have uh, a various sentiment score, which is between -1 to +1. -1 represents extremely negative, and +1 represents extremely positive, and which is concatenated with the aspect emitting matrix and further passed with MLP. And we applied sentiment polarity attention to sentiment aware to create sentiment aware embedding for each aspect category. So we applied aspect attention and passed it to MLP, followed by softmax. We minimize the binary cross entropy loss between predicted and actual decisions. So this is the result we obtained. Our model outperformed DeepASPeer model with sentiment by around 8 point, and without sentiment by 10 point. Our model outperformed the approach by Pradhan et al. By 8.7 and MRG by 18 point with respect to both the settings. So compared to DeepASPeer, which used only the sentiment for their experiment, however, we used better contextual embedding with respect to them, as which contains aspect embedding, aspect aware embedding, and aspect aware sentiment polarity embeddings, along with aspect and sentiment attention. DeepASPeer only focused on the sentiment associated with the reviews, while our is based on sentiment aspect based sentiment of each and every sentences. So this is the trained softmax aspect weight learned by our model. So motivation, meaningful comparison, orality, and soundness are the most effective most effective aspects as demonstrated. So the more darker it is, the more importance is being given to them, to these aspects. So uh, so these are the aspects which are more important while the model predicted the decision. So our model score 78.9% accuracy when we tried the trained model and tested only on neural IPS dataset, or 20% of neural IPS dataset. So we obtained 78.9% accuracy and 81.3% accuracy on ICLR conferences. To understand the efficiency of our model, we tried We removed some of the features from our model. So for DPSPR, we removed aspect and sentiment, which means the deepest we are using only text. So we are using the review text directly for prediction of the decision. So we scored around 64.33. When we use the sentiment, we got an improvement to 76.64. When we use aspect-based sentiment, we obtained an improvement to 79.68. There is around 90% of text which doesn't contain any aspect category associated with it. So when we added that category as well as a category, we got a very little improvement, which means the aspect is mostly important for predicting the decision of a manuscript. So, despite so many negative reviews, you can see uh, the paper is still accepted. The probable reason might be the impactful motivation. The model without aspect and with sentiment clearly rejects it with by a decision probability of 72%. However, deep ASPR consider the aspect importance while making the decision, but still weakly rejects it by decision probability of 55%, giving more importance to motivation. So we try to control the aspect importance. We control the aspect importance for controlling the aspect. We slightly modified the aspect weight score based in order to change the importance of aspect at the inference time. A user can easily control the aspect weights based on venues or their requirements to predict their set values at the time of inference. Now, let us just take the scenario when the paper is sent to a conference where the meta chair sets the aspect priority. For the previous example only, we increase the score of motivation and decrease of other aspects, most of the other aspects. As a result of this, the this set priority, the our model changed its decision to accept with a decision probability of 54%, which can be considered as a weak acceptance. Similarly, for the another example, we can see there are again negative examples in the review. However, the paper is accepted probably because of the originality and without aspect model, it rejects by a decision probability of 68%. With sentiment model, the sentiment distribution concerning the aspect and weakly rejects it by decision probability of 56%. So considering the aspect importance, our model rejects it with decision probability of 56%. So which consider because it understands that originality is important for the prediction of decision. So for suppose a scenario where the paper is related to conference where the meta chair sets the aspect priority given the highest priority to the originality. After and we try to reduce the other importance. So after incorporating these priorities, the model changed the decision to accept with a decision probability of 60%. So a little human intervention is needed to determine the relationship between aspect and how to give the importance, how to set the aspect weights and how to set the aspect scores with respect to the conference and or how the aspect plays a role in the decision process. And by the statistical analysis of the conference, it is possible if given the data is more and even the editor and chair can change the values of the importance of the aspect and try to study what may happen if we focus more on for some aspects, say motivation, then should the decision change, will the decision change, and what will happen to that. So we also tried adding the review rating. So we infused the review rating at the end of the MLP while MLP of our architecture. So adding this information boosted our accuracy by 11.84%. However, this is not an ideal situation as the decision will mostly get influenced by the reviewers recommendation. So we also analyze the our where our model fails. So there are some complex reviews in which there are multiple aspects. For example, the paper is not clear and non-motivated, contains the aspect clarity and also the aspect motivation. So our model get confuses as to which aspect the sentence belongs to, and predicts wrong decisions. So, here, reviewers and editors diverse opinion. So sometimes it may happen, as our model is based upon only on review comments. So it may happen that the review comments is positive, even though paper is rejected due to editor's other opinion, which is not in the line of the reviewer. So our model fails in that scenario. Sometimes the reviewer can be contradictory. For example, as we have combined all the reviews, the reviewer comments. So here you can see I like this clear. I like its clear motivation, though it is talking positively about motivation, that it has a motivation. Uh, at the same moment, is the review has this approach is not clearly motivated or explained. So this can possibly happen that these are same review or a different reviewer, or here in the second example for paper ID, we can see for clarity positive, the reviewer has said the paper is well structured and written clearly, and the paper is well written. So, and at the same time, same reviewer or the different reviewer says much negative about the clarity of the paper. Uh, so our model gets confused as to which aspect the which sentiment the aspect has, and it sometimes gives the wrong prediction in that cases. So in this work, we have investigated how AI could assist the editor or chair in anticipating the final decision within a limited time. Each venue has a distinct focus on different aspects of a paper. Therefore, a generic model needs to be developed to solve this problem. We developed a deep neural architecture that uses three sources of information to tackle uh, the, uh, to, tack, to tackle the complex task of peer review decision making. The peer review text aspect and sentiment associated with the reviews. Our model is generic and can be easily adapted to different aspect categories that have to be considered depending upon the type of conference or journal. Our result shows that our model achieves competitive performance on recent dataset. We found that aspect along with their corresponding sentiment can help build a generic controllable system to assess the editor or chair in determine the outcome of the paper. In future, we would like to focus, we like to study how meta review is influenced by the decision of a manuscript, which means if the decision is accept, how the meta reviewer writes that meta review. Does the meta reviewer focuses more on the accept on those part of the review which contains the acceptance. So so a scholarly language processing is not straightforward, and to capture the paper and the relationship between paper and the peer review, and to improve the peer review decision process, we need to capture what is the interaction and what is the relationship between the paper and the review text. So this is the thing we will like to try in future. So thank you everyone for your time and listening to this presentation. I will also like to thank Sigayar for providing student travel grant. Thank you everyone.